those moments once again. Good days are now. Reignite your passion. Discover every beauty of the world. Reimagine beyond time, modern luxury, convenience beyond measure. Approach towards sustainability. Gain composure of one's health. No road is too long when you have good company. Reinforce positive life experience. What's coming is better than what is gone. Hexalab. Relive, reignite, reimagine.
ODYSSEY Battery. Who needs this kind of power and performance? Better question is, who doesn't? Pure lead thin plate technology for twice the overall power, deep cycling capability for 3 times the life, and faster, fuller recharging for more peace of mind. Whatever you're driving, there's an ODYSSEY battery for you. ODYSSEY Extreme Series for the most demanding applications, and ODYSSEY Performance Series for everything else. Looking for a battery that's built to go the distance? Find your ODYSSEY battery at odysseybattery.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to the amazing world of Lotus Sports Cars. Let's celebrate Christmas with Lotus. Very Merry Christmas from all of us to all of you guys watching at home. My name is Max Palmer and with me is Lotus owner and also commentator as well, Kelvin T. How are you doing, mate?
Oi, awesome. It's been some time since we actually did this together.
Yeah.
So glad to be able to be in the virtual studio with you, man. I mean, it's been some time, yeah?
Absolutely. For today we are, of course, in virtual studios at home, so we can get back to the eggnog and the roast turkey as soon as we're done here. But of course we have a fantastic racetrack in Sepang circuit in Malaysia. All of the guys there, we had Gaskun, we have Wen Victoria, we have quite a few other drivers in the server right now practicing. And we also have this wonderful Lotus Evora. Could you explain to us and to the fine young ladies and gentlefolk at home what we're looking at?
Yes, we're looking at 3.5 liters of Japanese supercharged engine at the back of the car where the wing is, and obviously it being a Lotus, I think all Lotuses are mid-engine. I mean, this is no exception. So basically, we have it there, and this is absolutely a beautiful car with loads of aero. As you can see in the car itself, there's like holes everywhere. And looks pretty sick as well. Quite nice to drive. The platform has been on for about 12 years now, but the car still feels fresh to drive and engaging as hell. So this will be something that's quite exciting. But I think before we go into the car itself, maybe just want to refocus our attention on our partners and sponsors for today, shall we?
Fantastic stuff.
This
This has been brought on to us by the Lotus Owners and Enthusiasts of Malaysia, or LOEM. definitely chasing after that pure driving experience.
Definitely.
And that's fantastic to have them on board. They're a wonderful group of Lotus enthusiasts as well. Special thanks also goes out to Pavilion in Bukit Jalil. I think they're probably world renowned for being the place to go shopping in Malaysia, isn't it?
Absolutely. So Pavilion, thank you so much for supporting us. And also, besides LOEM and Pavilion, we have a lot of kind supporters and sponsors as well, starting with Hexalab. Thank you so much for providing support to this fantastic event. Hexalab supplies high quality graphene lubricants and additives for smooth, high performance engine running. And of course, we also have Osafe, which manages to transform a traditional dull looking fire extinguisher into something that's very eye-catching. If you haven't seen one, tomorrow the Amazing World of Lotus Sports Cars Christmas with Lotus event will be live at Pavilion Bukit Jalil starting from 2 p.m. onwards, about 2:30 actually. And you can see the cars there, as well as a lot of our sponsors, and you can see customized fire extinguishers, which I say is really beautiful. Next up, we also have MTX and their high quality automotive detailing products, Protools Hardware with their high quality branded tools, ODYSSEY Battery with their high crank power battery and performance batteries for all your automotive needs. Last but not least, our media and promotional partners, Galeri Kereta, DSF and SDeal Gaming, for their support in this promotion and the broadcasting of this event.
Yeah, special thanks to all of our sponsors there for making this happen. It's great to get all of these wonderful names there. And yeah, I mean, every one of these brands well known and very high quality stuff there. Just actually talking just before the stream with Kelvin about the Hexalab graphene additives. From my understanding, that actually came from the world of F1. Did you know that the viscosity in a V10 Formula 1 engine, the oil that they used back in those 3-liter days, had roughly the same viscosity as water?
Wow, talk about smoothness, talk about lightness as well.
Yep, so they had to use not just molybdenum but also graphene in constructing the oils and making sure those cars could actually withstand 20,000 RPM worth of
so
power.
when you say withstand 20,000 RPMs, you mean so that the oil can cling to the cylinder surface, right? Basically?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the trick. It's wonderful stuff, and it's nice to see that actually trickling down to the road.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, going back to the car for a bit, so, I mean, this eRace today is hosted in conjunction with the Christmas with Lotus event, and it's the first ever to have first ever eRace to be supported by a car club in the form of LOEM, which will be live at Pavilion tomorrow. And today we have this fantastic race coming up in a short while, where qualifying will start in just a minute. And without further ado, I think it's almost time for us to go to the track, correct?
Absolutely. So we're gonna slide our way down there, but before we do that, Hexalab, having been wonderful sponsors here, they've actually given us some prizes, and some really high quality prizes there. So you do have the list, the all important list, printed on very high quality paper there, of the prizes there. We of course have the road package first place, the hit the road jack kit. What's in there? Do you know?
All right, of course, yeah. Also, I mean, as what we were talking just now, right, about the all-important ingredient that helps lubricate the F1 engines. Inside there's a bottle of R8 Infinity Graphene Engine Oil Additive, a bottle of Fresh Me Car Disinfectant Spray, Cool Me Car Instant Cooling Spray, that's pretty cool, nice. And a set of Hexalab premiums for the winner of today's race. And for second place itself, it's a key product, or basically the star of the show, of the Hexalab's product lineup, R8 Infinity, the engine oil additive. That basically that's the graphene additive that we spoke about. And in third place, we have actually the 10W40 semi-synthetic lubricant that Hexalab is so kind to provide us for the winners of today's race.
Absolutely, and of course for all of you guys at home who are interested, they are available at the usual place. You can actually find them on the usual social media platforms and everything else. I'm pretty sure they have a fairly large range of products actually, so I'm sure you'll be able to find a Hexalab product that will suit your needs as well. So special thanks goes out to Hexalab and all of our sponsors as well. Thanks to ODYSSEY Batteries, MTX, Osafe, Protools and Pavilion, along with our main the star of the show there, the Lotus guys and LOEM. So special thanks to all of you guys there, as well as our media partners of SDeal Gaming, Galeri Kereta, and Drive Safe and Fast, which we are glad we're working with now. They've been great in supporting us, as well as Galeri Kereta as well. So pada semua penonton Galeri Kereta, apa khabar? Harap semua selamat pada malam ini.
Yes. I think, I'll leave that part to you, Max, and I'll just say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone watching today. And pleased to be joining you guys on track, and let's just check it out. Check out as Aiman Hakim handles that oversteering moment with that 430 horsepower behind him, pushing him down the straight onto Sepang, going up to turn 14, 15? Yeah,
15.
Yeah, 15 and the last turn, as he now tries to slipstream Valentino in front to get more speed down the straights. So this is a qualifying lap. We are now into qualifying, and it's about 10 more minutes till the start of the race. So Max, I think while I can tell you more about the car, I would like to actually seek your help to tell me more about the circuit. I mean, seeing that you are definitely much more experienced in the circuit than me.
Absolutely. As you can see, Aiman Hakim's chosen a very interesting line around turn 1. There's a lot of racing lines around this turn 1, turn 2 complex there, and you can see Aiman trying to get the car as straight as early as possible as you go through there. That R bend at the start of the lap, so iconic. So many great moments there in Formula 1 history. Now coming out of turn 4 into turn 5, this is another key braking zone there. You can gain a lot of time here, but in these cars, the mid-engine, you can also lose quite a bit of time there. And Aiman getting the car very sideways coming out of turn 4 there. It's a very deceptive corner. It's actually a little bit easier than it used to be. There used to be quite a bit of a step going up into turn 4 there, but nowadays it's a little bit smoother. Turns 5 and 6 is where the Lotus really shines. It's all about that handling and that balance, and that's what they always talk about when it comes to setting up these cars, to have a nice fluid sort of feeling through the corners here. Turn 7 and 8, you try and take those two corners as one if possible. With this car, it can be a little bit challenging, but I think Aiman's nailed it there. Coming up to turn 9, this is the slowest corner on the track, and as you can see there, the braking distance is there. A small difference in braking distance can really make a big difference when it actually gets to the apex there. So you can see that Valentino braked a little bit early, and Aiman almost ran into the back of him. Now coming through turns 10 and 11, it's a very long right hand that it tightens up right at the end. Now going through turn 12, it's vitally important that you don't lift off. Kelvin and I were having a chat the other day about the old maintenance throttle, as they used to say. Coming around the back half of the circuit here, turn 14, again another place where you really don't want to provoke the car too much as you go onto the back straight. Perhaps one of the biggest dynamic challenges in motorsports, but I'd have to say the Evora there, it actually looks to be quite a bit of fun going through that back half of the circuit. And of course, turn 15, where you see a lot of iconic overtaking maneuvers over the years, and also vitally important to get that run up to the finish line.
Obviously these guys are very good, and let's just see the time that Aiman Hakim has put in. It is a 2:23.09 lap, which is mega quick along Sepang actually. Now before we came into the stream itself, I've actually had the opportunity to put in a few laps myself as well on this car, on this track, in this condition, which is about 31 degrees track temperature and a 27 degree ambient temperature. Now the car is pretty tough to drive for the first few laps. Absolutely difficult because the tires are cold. However, going into qualifying, I think they would probably do a few laps to bring them up to speed, up the temperature before you can actually attempt a lap. If not, that's exactly the thing that's going to happen. That is exactly what happened to me. Going in with a cold tire, you tend to understeer first and then snap oversteer afterwards. So, but the good part about the Evora is that because it's a supercharged engine, the power delivery is quite linear, and it's not exactly very peaky, so it doesn't come in suddenly one gush of power. It comes quite linearly, and it's quite easy to drive actually. I would say if you want to pull a few tricks like drift around corners just for the lulz of it, this is actually quite a nice car to do. It's really well balanced and has sufficient aero, I would say, to make things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying, it's been around for quite some time, and they've just had development after development on the Lotus Evora chassis. That's almost been a hallmark of Lotus cars. I mean, the Elise has been going for so long with a very similar aluminium tub chassis, and these Evoras have a similar sort of thing, that sort of cross between extruded aluminium and sort of almost a space frame design. Very innovative. They were the first company to really do that, and I don't think there were too many supercar manufacturers that have done anything similar to that, really. Perhaps Ferrari, but they came in a lot later. But yeah, going back to that engine, it is a Japanese engine, V6, 3.5 litres. The beautiful thing about it is that even in naturally aspirated form, the car has a very nice torque curve. It's very flat, as they say, so you get very similar amount of torque whether you're going low RPM or high RPM. It's very flexible in that sense. And just with the supercharger as well, I think it's absolutely perfect when it comes to driving around the track there. You cannot ask for a more tractable engine. It's almost different to back in the old days when you used to have the K-Series Rover engines in the back of the Elises, and they were a bit of a screamer, high RPM type of deal there. Those were a little bit tricky, especially through the southern half of Sepang circuit. I remember you could really get the car sideways off cam, and you have yourself a little bit of trouble trying to get the car straightened up again. But I think this is just another step forward there for the Lotus guys, and it makes you sort of wonder about the future as well.
100%. I mean, just a fun fact for you, right? I mean, Max, I think you are definitely the expert in all things racing and stuff, right? But in terms of Lotus, having the opportunity to have an Elise before and then the Evora now, basically I had some interesting facts. The Evora chassis is actually an extended one of the Elise one as well. So basically, it's the same type of technology applied in both cars. One is a longer, I mean the Evora that we're seeing here is a longer GT version of a Lotus product. And the Elise and the Exige are the track-focused, really hardcore ones.
Yeah.
And tomorrow in Pavilion, actually, there's going to be a lot of variety showing up. We're going to have... Okay, I think I shouldn't be saying this out loud yet, because I think I want to keep it, on the down low, so that, everyone can come and check out the cars. But we are going to have some pretty fantastic cars. We're gonna have actually a few cars that does not even have doors. So I think those of you who actually like Lotus cars, you know what I'm talking about. But these cars does not have door. They also have a three. Wow! Look at that drip!
Fantastic! Absolutely fantastic. That he's really what he's done there is really exploited the chassis and the handling dynamics of the Lotus. Lotus is one of the few brands that are not afraid to give you a car that's set up to oversteer, because they believe that a car that turns is a safer car than a car that understeers. So that was beautifully exploited there by Kaskan, that famous roll oversteer that you get in a Evora or even at least to a certain extent. But that was nice.
I mean, looking at the lap times, this might not be a very fast lap, but if this was D1 Lotus version, that would probably be the winning drift. Probably. That was quite nice across turn 7, and I think he even managed to hit the apex, if I'm not wrong about that.
Yeah. I don't think he was that much slower though. Surprisingly.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Dang, Gaskun, fantastic drive there.
Fantastic indeed. But yeah, the other fun fact that I know about these Lotus, the bonded aluminium chassis are just that. They literally are almost glued on, although the glue that they use is, of course, very much space-age technology. So it's quite interesting to think that a metallic chassis you'd think would be welded together, but this is actually built more like a carbon fiber tub. It's actually glued together. You get a better bonding strength between the materials there. So yeah, there is glue in the Lotus, but it is very, very high-tech spacecraft.
Lots of glue, and it's in some of the cars, it's actually, I think if you can see, the glue is actually orange in color.
Yep.
The epoxy resin. It's a work of art. If you see a naked chassis, as we see the white Evora, I mean the name GT430 actually refers to the 430 horsepower that is behind the driver, in this case heading down to Sepang turn 1 as he brakes deep into this turn 1. But turn 1, Max, I mean, as you say, this turn 1 too complex. There's a lot of lines through this. What personally is the fastest line you think? for this particular turn. Yeah.
Well, it really depends on the car and the driving styles involved as well. We saw Ayman Hakim use the V line, if you will. So as soon as he hits the brakes, he's actually trying to steer the car towards the apex of the corner, almost stop the car, and use this Lotus's sort of dynamic ability to turn the car almost on a sixpence, as we say. Literally turning the car around a 50-cent coin, in effect, to try and fire the car out towards turn 2. And that is one way that you can really go very fast there. If you check out Michael Hafiz driving around, he uses a very similar technique as well. And it's very interesting because it's one of the few corners where you can really do that and really be very exaggerated about that. But also the other way, and the way I personally like to do it, is to keep to the left-hand side of the road as much as possible, do as much of my braking as possible, and then try and trail brake my way around and use a very late apex to line myself up for turn 2. So both, I think, can be quick. It also depends on the driving style and the car as well. I think for me personally, I would be braking a straight line with this Lotus coming to turn 1, but I can see a lot of the guys using that V-shape method, and it really comes down to how smooth you are with the inputs. I'm a little bit rough, I come from rallying, so I tend to abuse my inputs rather than use them. But the really quick guys here like Ayman and Valentino, I think they could probably pull off the trail braking, and that's the interesting part about this chassis, is that you really can trail brake quite a lot if you know what you're doing, but if you're not careful, you can get it a little bit wrong.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. During my short stint driving this thing around Sepang just now, I managed to do a time around 2:26, right? And that is with the trail braking not really dialed in. It's pretty tough to do because basically it's a Lotus, right? Like it suffers from Lotus. What is the disease that's called?
Lotusitis.
Lotusitis, yes. Failing to trail brake properly means that the front does not want to turn, and mashing the throttle afterwards to compensate for that means you get oversteer. And God forbid if you lift off midway through the turn, if you decide to you've lived long enough already, you decide to take a trip down to someplace interesting, then yes, why not? You just lift off halfway and then don't have any throttle. That's where you see the Lotus dancing around, pirouetting left, right, center, before finally ending up probably headfirst into a wall.
Yeah, there is a reason why they call it maintenance throttle. It's not so much anything to do with keeping the mechanics of your car in good working order. It's more to maintain your lifespan as you go around the track.
Yeah, completely.
But yeah, it does actually remind me a lot about single-seater driving, especially back in the earlier days, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, things like Formula BMW cars and things like that, where you really don't want to coast with the car. The car stops working when you're coasting. So you have to be either on the brakes, even if it is just a little bit, or on the throttle, even if it's just a little bit. And that's the trick. I think even with any mid-engine car, but something like the Elise or the Toyota MR2 with a similar transverse layout in the back, I think this is also a transverse engine car. I.e. the car goes, the engine points east to west, as it were, sideways in the engine. That is one trick. And the same thing as well with Group B rally cars and things like that. You do have to be very, very careful to make sure that the transmission system and the suspension system is always loaded up. The car can take a lot of load in the suspension, but if you take that load away, it's got no grip. It's a very, very lightweight car.
Yeah, it is. It is quite unique, lah. I just came back from also a track session with a BMW on the track. As we end the qualifying, so now we have actually done with qualifying, and now we are actually entering the race now. So let's go to the start, and let's prepare for the start as we have. I'm just gonna call out our grid. We have Ayman Hakim with a time of 2:22, which is 4 seconds faster, and 4 seconds is almost half an eternity around Sepang.
Yeah.
On the same car, in the same tires. I'm so ashamed of myself.
I did do that much better. He's pretty much 4 seconds behind my time as well.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. And we have Valentine in the also the same Evora GT430, 2:22.964, 0.2 of a second slower. Then we have Jensen Chu, 2:24.6, Zolmina 160, 2:25, Xme 2:25.34, Velatche in 225.4, Muis 225.7. A lot of drivers in the 225s actually. The Siga Raga 225.9, and then Gascoigne with the 226. That being said, I saw what Gascoigne did just now. He he went to the line. He braked before crossing the line. You know what?
Do we have a little bit of a last to first challenge or a little bit of a fight through the field here? Of course, that's the great part about these fun races. That everyone's got their hair down. A lot of the guys are just going to go out there and try and just put on a show. So I'm actually really looking forward to this race because I know a lot of guys having fun there. Gascoigne's really quick. He almost won a couple of the races in the Myvi Cup. So I cannot wait to see how this plays out. But we are about to go live right now on track. A few more moments before we start the race here. Ayman Hakim, I believe, is on pole position, and we can see there that run from pole position down to turn 1, that famous very wide entry into turn 1 there. I believe Sepang was, at the time it was built, the widest grid on the Formula 1 calendar. It's a very wide track in comparison to a lot of the other tracks there. That's Valentino there in second place, and he also has a nice shot at the start there with that wonderful front row start. That's going to help him out big time. So now, with a few more moments left, we are about to go we're just about ready to go racing right now, just waiting for a couple more drivers to load up.
Yep. So this is Jensen Chu in the beautiful white colored GT430. Little fun fact there, we're almost starting the race, but if you just take a look at the end, the two holes on the left and right, they actually pass air, and they are aerodynamic devices as we go. Max.
Fantastic. The 6 red lights are about to go on, and away we go. Ayman Hakim and Valentino. Valentino's got a fantastic start compared to Ayman Hakim. Ayman tries to crowd him, but coming down towards turn 1 there, it looks like Jensen Chu's looking for a way out the right-hand side, the left-hand side, coming down towards there. We've got cars 4 wide, almost 5 wide, coming into turn 1 there. A couple of overshoots there, and they touch. XME touches there. Going around the outside there, we've got one car off the track there. Amazingly, most of the cars, I spoke too soon there, and we have a spin in turn 1. I was amazed that we were almost not going to have that, but Achuan unfortunately spun the car coming around there, and we have got another spin coming out through turn 3 there, and the Siga Raga has gone off there along with Jeff and Apiz was up there coming down to the braking zone here. We've got more challenges there. As you can see there, Mui's getting very sideways there. A lot of these guys are getting a little bit too racy on their cold tires. There's no tire warming here. These are road cars. They're just taking them right out of the pits and into a racing situation there. They've got some really hairy driving right now coming up towards turns 7 and 8, and we can see there Muiz is up into 3rd place with all the drivers beginning to crawl through there. We're beginning to have a little bit of that's a big touch. That is a big touch. A bit of a NASCAR style bump and run there further back down the field, coming into the braking zone there for turn 9. Let's see if Muiz can do anything here. They're going to come into the apex there, almost touching really side by side, millimeters between each other, and Muiz gets himself up into 2nd place. But this battle means that Ayman has the smallest of breathing margins up at the front of the field.
Wow, this is a great start from all. I need to call out the extreme dive from XME all the way from the back. You can see him deep into turn 1 as he does it. But Muiz has just basically shown us a great example on how to do a dive cleanly, as he took 2nd position from Valentino just now. But the race is not yet over, as they now crowd into turn 15. Muiz is the 2nd place car without any slipstream, but now Valentino has a massive slipstream advantage. And touches Muiz in the back, little gentle tap, and dives into the apex, but just misses that and runs wide. John Jett, this name is very familiar. John Jett with a fantastic run, tailing Valentino right down, tailing Muiz right down the start finish line as they go fight into turn 1. Will he take the inside line or outside line? He's just staying behind. He's not overtaking, he's just staying behind Muiz for some reason. And now they go into turn 1 with John Jett taking an awfully wide line across, just having some fun with the Evora GT430.
what happens when you bring a whole bunch of NASCAR drivers into a Lotus race. That was straight out of the Intimidator Dale Earnhardt's textbook right there. I think he was trying to just have Moise off there, try and pressure Moise into a situation where he'd have to make a mistake or something like that. But Moise, even though he's quite a young driver there, he has the experience to actually try and manage himself going through there. Kamal Ali is going to go real deep into turn 4 there, just about managing to claim that apex, but he's still side by side there. There's was up there right next to him, coming down towards turn 5, turn 6. This is going to be real scary there. Side by side through turn 5. Is it going to be side by side through turn 6? Yes, it is, and it looks like we've got XP there joining the battle. This is going to be a 3-wide battle coming down towards the 7-8 complex. Hard on the brakes there. They go in 3 wide, 3 into 1. Ain't going to fit, but they do manage to back off and keep themselves in the race there. And Kamal Ali took about 2 kilometers to try and overtake XP, and Apiz there. Dropping yet another position to XP. So that was a fantastic bit of driving there from Kamal Ali. I think he's just about held his nerve through that section there. Now coming up towards the top of the field there, he's got another target in his sights, but further back Wazap, Vlache and XME, they are in a little bit of a battle there. It looks, I mean, these are Lotus cars, these are GT cars, you drive them delicately and everything else, but these guys are making it look like a NASCAR race.
I agree. And I think, I mean, the big wing aside, I mean, let's just remind ourselves that these are essentially road cars. They are not, I mean, they are track-focused road cars, yes, but these are definitely not race cars in any sense of the word, in the sense that they are not stripped down, in the sense that they do not have the roll cages, do not have chassis strengthening between, I mean, the entire chassis, although that being said, the Lotus chassis is pretty stiff. So these cars actually do serve up quite good racing for a race car, I mean for a road car, pardon me. And I mean, I'm just really very entertained by the standards of racing having in a fun race as is today, as John Jett intimidates Moise a little bit, running Moise slightly wide at turn 1, having the inside line and now securing second position.
That was what he was trying to do the previous lap, but I think he may have made a slight mistake there. But yep, there we have John Jett coming up into second place. Then he's going to try and catch down Ayman, but Moise and Valentino are quite close to each other as well. They're coming up through the field. We also do have that battle between Zulmina, Jensen and Gascon. Jensen in 6th, Zulmina in 7th, and Gascon in 8th place as well. So we've got battles going all over the field right now, and you can see these cars are nose to tail at the moment. And ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single broadcast we do, but that's the level of drivers we have here. The Adrenaline Impact Midfield Battle, trademark, yes, copyrighted, and everything else is on between Jensen Chu, Zulmina, and Gascon. We saw that Gascon was having a little bit of trouble through turn 7, turn 8. Let's see how he does coming out of the corner here. He's got a better drive than Zulmina, but he hasn't got the space in between the corners to try and take advantage of that. Coming through the corner there, Zulmina gets the car a little bit sideways, but corrects beautifully in order to try and keep his positions there. But Gascon has kept up his speed, his momentum going through that corner there. Zulmina blocks on the inside, Gascon on the outside. Is he going to try and go around the outside of turn 9? That's going to be very difficult indeed. Unfortunately, not enough speed around the outside there to try and make this work, but this battle is going to go on for quite a while. He's going to go side by side through turn 11. This is really hard stuff to try and pull off in a race car. Around there, Zulmina gets sideways coming out of the corner there and manages to hang on to that position with Gascon on the inside. That is unbelievable stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't slicks. This is Michelin pilots. I think they're on Pilot Sport 4s actually in these cars, or
yes,
a similar tire.
Yes, indeed, and this is madness. I think Zulmina might be feeling the pinch there, because obviously he's been pushing a little bit too hard across turns 9, 10 and 11, and now he momentum somewhat, and Gascon is just up the rear wing of Zulmina into turn 15. I have a feeling that if Zulmina continues to defend, they will rip up their tires in due time. I think it might be, you know, sometimes in this case, it might be better to just let them pass if the car behind has a higher speed. But you can see Zulmina is still defending strong, still defending hard, not giving up, holding the line. But let's see if Gascon is going to dive on the inside into turn 1 and do a Verstappen like how John Jett did the other lap, as Jensen just did D1 GP right in front of us.
That's brilliant stuff. I think we need more races on road tires. Saga Cup works so beautifully well because they're on road tires. The limits are a little bit lower than when they're on slick, so you can get away with a lot less preparation when you have road tires. You don't have that much grip, so you're not putting that much stress into the cars. But what it also does is it puts all the focus on the driving ability and specifically car control. Being able to, whoa, just as we say that, Zulmina rally driving it out of the corner there, but that's given Gascoigne the opportunity to try and go on the inside there. He manages to go through in turn 5 and seals the deal there. Gascoigne finally getting that position from Zulmina, and he's going to try and chase up after Jensen Chu, who's also going very sideways earlier at turn 1 there. I think this race is really going to boil down, especially in the midfield here, to the driver who makes the least amount of mistakes. It really is a case there, and you can see there coming up there. You notice the braking markers there. We've got a little a little Christmas cheer at Sepang circuit there.
So once again, Merry Christmas to all and a Happy New Year. But going back to the cars, indeed, I think Gascoigne is really pushing it up there. And as we can see, John Jett, the battle at the front of the Lotus Evora GT430, amazing build of Lotus sports cars, Christmas with Lotus, what a mouthful. Battle is on between Ayman Hakim and John Jett going down to turn 15. Obviously, John Jett is driving extremely cleanly, not pushing Ayman Hakim too much, no dirty driving, no dive bombing, but just simply by just going faster than Ayman Hakim, he's been able to keep up and almost set up a pass for himself. Will he be passing Ayman Hakim into this lap?
I believe he might do it this lap, but I don't think he's close enough to try and do it in turn 1 unless John Jett has swapped out his brakes for something a lot stronger than Ayman Hakim's. Hard on the brakes there, although you can see Ayman's a little bit nervous coming towards the apex of that corner. He's using that very V line. John Jett squaring off the corner a little bit more. Like you can see, especially when you're on road tires, you could really tell the difference in racing lines coming through that corner there. So John Jett turning the car and then accelerating out Ayman Hakim, a bit more classical driving style, a bit more like a Jim Clark in that respect. Coming up towards the braking zone here, as you can see there, hard on the brakes. I think both are braking really, really late. A lot later than I am, that's for sure. Coming around the corner there, around the outside, Ayman getting a little bit sideways onto the ripple strip. Sorry, John Jett getting a little bit sideways onto the ripple strip there as he chases down Ayman Hakim. Towards turn 9, perhaps there might be a braking maneuver coming up through turn 9 or even 7-8 if they're really, really brave. And I think with these guys, they're having a lot of fun right now. They might just go for it.
Yes, indeed. And in the last lap itself, John Jett was 3/10 faster than Ayman Hakim in the same car, in the same track, in the same set of tires. And I think he's probably setting it up for a pass. Or could this be a strategic move to stay behind Ayman Hakim for most of the race to set up a pass towards the latest phase when the tires do eventually wear down a little bit?
That could be a good point there, because you really don't want to burn up the tires, but also if you get past a track like Sepang with a lot of slipstream area, especially turn between 14 and 15 and turn 1, those two straights on the double frontage grandstand bit, that section there really has a lot of slipstream ability, so you want to defend as much as possible, and you ideally, in an ideal world, during a close race, you really want to try and overtake at that final corner there. But John Jett has got a fantastic run through. Ayman managing to gain a little bit of pace through the final sector there before the back straight, so he was able to actually try and claw away a little bit, but I think John Jett is getting closer and closer to the front, and Ayman Hakim there coming out of the corner. He's going to accelerate hard on the gas. He's going to try and see if we can have yet another overtaking maneuver. But yes, going back to what we said earlier there, it could be a strategic decision to try and overtake at the final corner on the final lap, and that would be a wonderful thing to watch.
Yes, indeed. And I think basically, I believe Ayman is feeling the heat a little bit because his lines have been getting a little bit more narrower compared to when he started and when he qualified in pole position, of course. His lines have slightly tightened up a little bit, I think probably in response to John Jett right behind him. But the good thing about John Jett is that he's not pressuring him by pushing him or tapping him or doing anything that's borderline controversial, but instead John Jett is just positioning his car everywhere in Ayman Hakim's rear view mirror so he can see him clearly. He knows that John Jett is there, and obviously in the middle part of the track, John Jett carries a lot more speed, but is still pushing Ayman Hakim forward and putting himself in the mirrors everywhere across the track itself. This must be quite some pressure to take for young Ayman Hakim.
Absolutely, and that's the trick there. Now we're going to go over to the midfield battle right now. Zulmina is still between Gascon and Exmi. These guys have been going for quite some time there. They actually managed to catch up with Jensen Chu right now, but they're having a little bit of trouble trying to get past him at the moment. Hard on the brakes going through turn 7 and 8. We have basically a 2-in-1 battle here. Whoa, Jensen getting very sideways. How did he catch that? Fantastic car control there from Jensen Chu, and he managed to keep the position. Unbelievable stuff there. Real sideways moment there from Jensen. I think he might be burning up his tires a little bit. He might be overheating those tires because he's been having an awful lot of those moments there, and you really don't want to get it. You can see he's actually going very sideways in some sections. He is struggling a little bit with the balance of the car. Gascon getting real close there. I think he wasn't expecting Jensen to get that sideways. Now they're going to go side by side coming down towards turn 12. Will he be able to make that position work? No, he was a little bit too far on the inside there. Jensen was able to sweep around the outside and carry a little bit more speed coming down to this braking zone here. This is torture for your left front tire coming through here. Absolutely. And on road tires, it's really scary in terms of how much heat you generate as you come out of that corner there. But now coming up to a straight here, and Jensen just about has the lead in this little battle for at least one more corner. But Gascon right behind there. He's going to go hard on the brakes. He can brake later, noticeably later than Jensen coming through the corner there, and managed to slow down in time. I think Jensen might be running out of grip.
Yes, indeed. And not just that, I think just a comment must be given to Gascon, because I saw clearly in the last lap itself, he was being, extreme sportsmanship was shown there. He did not punt Jensen off the track. Obviously, Gascon was carrying much more speed into turns 12. But having said it, again, the same thing is happening. He's carrying more speed, but he respects the line that Jensen has, and he passes Jensen cleanly on the track without resorting into taps or basically little tricks to get Jensen out of the way. So commendable, Gascon. Thank you so much. That's some sportsmanship that we've seen there. Really good driving.
Absolutely brilliant, close, very, very fierce, very, very sharp, very, very close quarters. They're definitely battling quite hard there, but it's beautiful sportsmanship and also beautiful racecraft. He did not close the door until he knew he was at least 25 millimeters ahead of the car behind him.
that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And also by Xme and Zulmina 160, that is just really respectful driving, respectful racing. This is what we want to see. This season's Formula One is pretty nice to watch. It's exciting, but at times can be pretty controversial. I really hope that they fix the rules, for the seasons to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Just making sure that they're consistent and across the board there. But anyways, never mind about Formula One. This is where the action is, at least for today. Zulmina and Zulmina and Exmi battling there. And Zulmina gets the car sideways. There wasn't a curb there to try and save him, but he managed to get the drive out of the corner somehow and keep himself up ahead there. But it looks like Exmi is getting real close. Will there be another risky maneuver at turn 14? Is he going to try and set it up for the back straight? We will have to find out. Meanwhile, John Jett's dropped down. John Jett has dropped down a position, and Valentino has managed to get himself up into second place there. John Jett's dropped down into third. He was battling with Ayman for the lead of the race, but right now it looks like Muiz has managed to get back up to speed with these group here. John Jett is 1.5 seconds behind Valentino, incidentally, so I'm not too sure if he made a mistake or went off the track there, but right now he's under a lot of pressure from Muiz and Yomama in fifth place. Some of the drivers have changed their names to have a little bit of festive cheer, so do apologize.
Yes, indeed. So as we see, Yomama right behind Muiz put some pressure into turn 2, onto turn 3. Now this turn, just now when I was driving, you can go full on, you can go flat out, but you need to have your tires a little bit warmed up first before you attempt that. Now this is the 7th lap. I'd wager the tires are not just warmed up, they are probably little bit worn as the Yomama dives down turn 4 and heads up into turn 5 and 6 complex, side in front. Actually, I was expecting it to be side by side, but it was in front of Muiz as he tries to brake a little bit at the apex to try to point the front of the car into the apex itself. This is very smart because, I mean, on the Lotus itself, you need to turn. And when you're in front of someone, you can afford to slow down the apex and make the turn and then accelerate out, having lots of traction. So good driving there from the yellow car, first position of Yumama.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. And if you notice, they were actually sliding the car. They're almost on a four-wheel drift going through the car. Very, very shallow angle sliding of the car to get through the corner. And when your tires begin to wear out, sometimes you're forced to try and do that in order to try and keep the speeds up, because your grip levels are going away. You can't really get them back in this car in the same way you could in, say, a Formula 1 car or a LMP1 car. You really do, you know, as soon as you build up heat into a road car tire, it's very, very hard for it to shed heat afterwards. You're sort of driving around there and you've just got to make do with what you've got. John Jett there, now he's managed to get himself up into second place right now, getting past Valentino, and he's going to try and chase after Ayman again, but 6 seconds, can he do it in the 11 minutes that we have left?
He has actually indeed closed the gap by 1.3 seconds just this lap alone, and after overtaking Valentino, immediately put a gap of 1.2 behind Valentino. And I think John Jett is a man on a mission, a man with a jetpack going down straight onto turn 1, trying to take the race. Wow, that is mind-boggling pace there. John Jett with a time of 2:20 across, and that compared to Ayman Hakim's last lap, which is a 2:22, that's 2.8 seconds faster per lap by John Jett the last lap alone. Has his strategy finally paid off, and finally has his strategy to conserve his tires, conserve everything that he has, and is now releasing the pace, bringing the gap from 7 seconds down to 5.8 in a half a lap.
220 is incredibly fast. It's faster than the Malaysian Touring Car Championship drivers around there. They're almost within a few seconds of a TCR car, which is a World Touring Car, around this track. So they are genuinely at race car pace in a road car, effectively a road car, albeit, like you said, a track focused car. But this is a car that you can send to JPJ, get a road tax, license, insurance, everything, and drive the car on the road to the track and do this and go back with. And I think that's the biggest legacy when it comes to Lotus cars, that ability to just really, really outperform the competition when it comes to road cars. There's not a lot of supercars, there's not a lot of Ferraris or Porsches or anything like that that can hang with the Lotus around Sepang, even though it does have its quirks on occasions. I know you've driven your particular example. You have a similar Lotus Evora, and you've had some interesting moments out on track.
I do. I've had my fair share of spins on the track itself. It's pretty fun. But also pretty scary, and at the same time, I mean, you really feel the satisfaction when you do a proper lap around the track.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if you fail in this car, it's really not the car's fault. It's pretty much the driver's fault. Yeah.
Yep, that's when you put the done sat on and have 10 minutes to think about what you've just done in the pits before you head back out again.
Yes, indeed. But one more thing about these cars is that, I mean, the Lotus philosophy is basically lightness, right? And as a result of that, these cars are extremely track focused. Even the basic lease, which I had once before, lasted for me. It was pretty interesting. I just basically did like 2 hours of track, went out for a splash of gas, came in, did another 2 more hours, and went home in the same car, on the same tires, in the same day. So these are extremely reliable cars that are made for you to go around Sepang, do this lap over lap, lap after lap after lap. But just wanted to focus our attention on the battle at the front, as John Jett did another lap. This time is 2:19.966, and the gap is now 1.5 seconds between Ayman and John Jett at the front. Wow.
Unbelievable. Ayman is not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination, but John Jett is just taking heaps of times out. I think Ayman's tires must be suffering at this point, and John Jett, as you said quite rightly there, has managed to conserve his car beautifully. We've got 7.5 minutes roughly left on the clock right now. We're watching Yo Mama try and get past Valentino coming through the braking zone here. This is a very tricky braking zone up ahead here. And you can see they're braking virtually at the same time there. Valentino carries a little bit too much speed. He goes wide, and Yo Mama manages to get himself into the podium position there. He really wants that 10W40 semi-synthetic oil, and a very good product it is indeed there from Hexalab. Coming out of the corner there, you can see Valentino just struggling a little bit to try and hold the same racing line that Yo Mama is holding right now, and you can tell when drivers begin to lose grip in the car, they tend to turn in early and give themselves more space in the corner should the car start to slide. Yo Mama has the confidence to actually use all of the road surface right now. Having said that, he is slower through the final sector here than Valentino. You can see there someone's let off the fireworks, and we have another driver really driving right off the road there in order to make sure he doesn't encumber the leaders. Yes, the leaders are beginning to lap cars right now. 6 minutes left on the clock, and Yo Mama now in third position. But the battle in the lead, Ivan and John Jett, I think we're going to have a change in lead very, very soon.
Yes, indeed. Looking at the lap times, it's okay. I think it's already happened. On track, Ivan Hakim is now no longer in, as we see John Jett should be taking over the lead soon. Oh, apologies, that's my error on the timing system. That being said, the gap is now down to 0.398, right behind John Jett, really sticking his car where Ivan Hakim does not want him there. Yeah.
Indeed. Now coming up towards turn 4, this could be a very good overtaking opportunity, but I think John's got to keep behind him. He wants to be absolutely sure that he can not only overtake Ayman but pull away from him within the next 2 corners. That's going to be the trick for a clean overtake around Sepang there. We see another car that spun off the road there. I believe that was Win N, unfortunately having a little bit of a, as we say, a lotusitis.
Indeed. The lotusitis, a disease where you go too quick and you understeer, and then you apply, and then you either lift off in fear and then you spin, or you apply too much throttle to try to make up for a bad line, and then you spin either way. So lotusitis. There you go.
Yes, indeed. There, I like the fireworks going off there. Unfortunately, we're not at night, but still, it's nice to have a little bit of festive cheer around the racetrack as well. I'm at Hakim there. He perhaps not thinking so much about the festive cheer, but where to put his car in order to try and inconvenience John as much as possible. Ayman did a fantastic job defending earlier on when these two drivers managed to meet up. Now it's happening again, coming down towards the final few corners before the back straight there, through turns 12, 13, then hard on the brakes in 14. You want to keep the car to the right before shifting to the left. That will give you a pretty much straight line to try and brake, then turn the car
It's a great
around.
line. It's a great line by John Jett. Great line, and now he's right behind Ayman Hakim with the speed to pass. Will he pass this time, or will he? He chooses not to. It's another 3 minutes and 50 seconds. He chose not to dive on the inside. As you can see, the car moved right, then left again. So he chose, John Jett, he chose not to take Ayman Hakim this lap. I wonder why. Perhaps it is the fear of the extra slipstream down into turn 1. But also it may be another strategy to last another 3 or perhaps 2 more minutes before he finally makes the pass. But once again, I think, Max, I just want to take this chance to thank our sponsors and partners for tonight's race, starting with LOEM Pure Driving, Lotus Owners and Enthusiasts Club of Malaysia, and Pavilion, Bukit Jalil, SDeal Gaming, Protools, Osafe Fire Extinguisher, Microtex MTX, our fantastic gift sponsors, prize sponsors, Hexalab, ODYSSEY Battery, media sponsors, Galeri Kereta, Drive Safe and Fast. Thank you so much for your support for this race.
Absolutely, we are so glad you can join us for this battle right now between Ayman and John Jett, and of course we wouldn't be able to put on this fantastic racing without all of our sponsors' help. Of course, special thanks goes out to the drivers as well. Ayman Hakim and John Jett there. Ayman is looking for any way possible to try and make sure that John is not going to get him when Ayman is weakest. He's trying to plan himself out. He's trying to figure out where he's got to defend. I think both drivers know that that the overtaking maneuver, if it comes, will be in the final lap. And I think there will only be one more lap after this. I think it will come down to a 12-lap race. Right now, John Jett poking the car on the inside there. That was an attempt at overtaking. That was just a reminder to Ayman. Right now, there's a lot of head games going on between those two drivers, between Ayman and John Jett coming around the corner here. You can see that Ayman keep really looking for any way to try and keep that lead for as long as possible, but it looks almost inevitable at this point. It's almost like a predator playing with its food before it goes in for the kill. Coming around the outside there, John Jett just proving a point again. He's poking that nose around the outside there. I think, again, a little bit of playfulness there. And it's really nice from our point of view that they're dragging this out just a little bit longer, having ourselves a bit more entertainment as we come towards the final lap of the race. But this will be the final lap of the race, coming around the corner there. And John Jett's going to try and poke it on the inside. He's gone very far inside there. I think that was more of an avoidance maneuver there. I don't think he was expecting Ayman to slow the car right down at the apex there, but John Jett managed to take onto the grass. That's pretty much the only thing you can do in that situation, because backing off in the Lotus at the apex doesn't strike me as a very good way of spending your holidays.
No, it's absolutely horrible. I mean, if you do that, if you go into a turn too fast in the Lotus, the last thing you want to do is just abruptly lift off. That's the worst thing you want to do, and that motion into the grass is, I would assume, is actually avoidance from John Jett, avoiding a spin and going down the inside. They are so close. They are so close with each other into turn 4, and John Jett has the advantage now. The pass has indeed happened. Last lap of the race, 26 seconds to go before official time finishes, and the lead has changed hands. John Jett in the lead for P1 for John Jett.
Absolutely brilliant overtaking maneuver there. You saw that Ayman went for the defense, he went for the block, but there was just too little too late at that point, and John just had the speed. He could change the line through there, but brilliant driving for both drivers there. That was straight out of the F1 playbook. Brilliant defense and counter-attack coming to that braking zone there. So wonderful stuff indeed. And you can see that John Jett beginning to open up a lead, just a little small tiny lead right now from Ayman Hakim. Way sideways coming out of the corner there, absolutely driving it like it's on a dirt track at the moment, coming hard on the brakes there. You can tell that Ayman, he must feel a little bit frustrated at losing the lead on the last lap of the race. I know a couple of guys who are frustrated about that, but the less said about that, the better. In any case, Ayman Hakim there, a great battle there. He's a well-deserved prize winner today, but unfortunately that main prize I think is going to go to John Jett, knock on wood. But it looks like Ayman's got the pace though. He's got a lot of pace there. Why is John Jett going slowly? He
may have run out of fuel. May have, there could be some problems there.
Unbelievable. At the final corner of the race, John Jett's run out of fuel, and that's given the prize to Ayman Hakim, and Yo Mama has managed to get himself up into second place. This is unbelievable stuff. John Jett, will he be able to actually come across in third place there? And it looks like Valentino's gone past. That is unfortunate stuff indeed. Ayman's in first, Yo Mama in second, Valentino in third place. It was all wrapped up right up to the final corner there, but John Jett, unfortunate stuff indeed. He's just outside of the prize positions there. That is so unfortunate.
Yes, indeed. But credits due to John Jett for a mega drive to make it almost to, P1. He had it. He really had it. He only had one more corner to go.
That is unfortunate stuff. I think everyone is in a little bit of shock there from what happened, but it looks like Jensen Chu and Kamal Ali, they're not worried about that battle because they have a battle of their own. Kamal Ali's being crowded out there. There's a block thrown by Jensen. It's between the two of them, and they come across the line, nose to tail, side by side almost, but Jensen managing to hang on to that 7th place with Kamal Ali in 8th position. And of course, we have the traditional banger race after the race there in sim racing. They like to toss the cars around a little bit just to lepas steam lah, as they say.
Lepas steam lah, indeed. We see a bit of steam lepas. I think there must be, Kamal Ali great gentleman racer. He must be feeling a little bit. I mean, I would wager that he's feeling a bit excited about the race, because as he crossed the line, he was flashing his lights.
Absolutely.
Man.
The fantastic stuff from all the drivers there, and your race results there coming in. We'll just have a quick look through there. Ayman Akim in first place, Yo Mama in second, with Valentino in third, John Jett in fourth, Muiz in fifth, Gaskun in sixth place, Jensen in seventh, followed by Kamal Ali, Zulmina, and Apiz Wazap in 10th position, as we see those fireworks being let off by some of the track workers celebrating in the background. Fantastic stuff indeed.
That's right. And for P11 onwards, we have Valache, we have XB, we have Jeff Chong in 13th position, the Sigaraga 14, Dani Bebu 15, Takstar Win and Tuned by ASC 18th position in the track itself. So this is Virtual Sepang. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And join us as we have the traditional slide around on track between the Lotus cars at turn 1.
Absolutely, and it just gives us enough time, I think, to have a quick recap of what happened through the race there for some of you who've just joined us. The start was incredible. We had guys going 4 wide, 5 wide coming to turn 1, and, well, I just had to jinx it. I was just about to say, they managed to get through turn 1 really cleanly, considering they're on cold tyres and driving on parts of the racetrack that haven't really seen race cars in a long time, i.e. the outside of the corner. It gets a little dusty, there's a little bit of debris out there, out wide, and there's not a lot of grip when you're off the racing line in turn 1 and turn 2. And they almost got away with it. There were guys going 3 wide coming into turn 2, of all places, and they managed to just about get away with it. But a couple of drivers, unfortunately, had a little bit of that snap oversteer and couldn't make it through. But I think that goes to show the level of driving we have today.
Yeah, indeed. It was really, really good. And we had John Jett to thank for a lot of the action. Great drive from all the drivers. Ayman Hakim, which takes away the Hexalab Big Pack, the on-the-road pack that is given thanks to our sponsors Hexalab. And second place will take home the engine oil additive R8 Infinity engine oil graphene additive to actually help out with the lubrication of the engine of the car. And the third place prize goes to our third place finisher, which will take home a semi-synthetic 10W40 oil, which goes to Muiz Hakimi.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, for those of you wondering, he did also win an oil prize in the Saga Cup race. And that's, well, I know I'm not going to hear the end of this again, but we've given, for those of you who don't know, Muiz is a teenager. He lives up north in Kedah. And he's one of the young guns coming up through motorsports, virtual motorsports right now. Fantastic talent there. And I believe he's only 14 or 15 years old. So we're going to see an awful lot more from him. But I think his parents' cars and his cousin's car have fantastic lubrication right now.
Definitely, without a doubt there. Just looking at the times there, oh, thank you so much. That was such a great lap from John Jett. That was such a great lap. 2:19 finishing. That's the fastest lap that we've seen for the Lotus Evora GT430 in Sepang, and that was just one heck of a performance up until he ran out of fuel.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate there from John Jett, but hopefully we'll be able to see him later on in some of the racing that's happening next year. But we're going to have quite a lot of fun. We've had, first of all, quite a lot of fun with all you guys, the viewers at home. So from all of us at Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports, very special thank you and a very special Merry Christmas we wish you to all our viewers there, all the fine, wonderful ladies and gentlemen out there. Fantastic stuff indeed. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do best. And also a special thanks to all of our drivers who not only joined tonight, but throughout the course of the year. We've had a real landmark year in sim racing here in Malaysia. We're glad that we can be on the vanguard and not just the drivers as well, but all of our players, all of our esports guys, from the first-person shooters to the RPGs, MMORPGs, the Mobile Legend and Code, fantastic stuff there, and of course all of the stuff that we've done on iRacing and in Assetto Corsa. So very special thanks to all the players who really bring this sport, this world of virtual sports to life. So special thanks to that. But of course, most importantly, seeing as it is the amazing world of Lotus Sports Cars Christmas with Lotus, there will be at Pavilion tomorrow. So do look out for the LOEM guys, the Lotus owners and enthusiasts of Malaysia, as they have that special little event. And special thanks to them for also sponsoring us. So special thanks goes out to, of course, LOEM, Pavilion, Bukit, Jalil. That is the place to go for all the wonderful things that they do. A fantastic job that they put on, and a fantastic shopping mall to head out to. Special thanks also goes out to SDeal Gaming, Protools, Osafe, MTX. Our prizes are come to us courtesy of Hexalab, and of course we have ODYSSEY Battery. And a special thanks goes out to our media partners, Galeri Kereta and DSF as well. So yeah, that's been a fantastic race, a fantastic season, and a fantastic year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and very happy to end it this way. I mean, we will be back, of course, next year. And of course, thank you so much to yourself as well, Max, for doing this for us, for doing this for the esports industry of Malaysia, for doing this for eSIM racing of Malaysia. Very, very happy to be part of this. Thank you so very, very much, everyone, and especially to our audiences. So to wish you all a Merry Racy Christmas and a Happy Pew Year next year. I apologize for that.
Well, we always have that policy of making sure we end on a bad pun, and I think that one takes. So absolutely special thanks goes out to all of you again. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas indeed. But that's going to be it from us, especially from our long-suffering director, Carol Alang, who's been manning the cameras and keeping us all in line and herding cats like myself. So a very special thanks to him, as well as special thanks to all the guys who've been working. Like I said, Umar, we had Sutanrik, Encode, all those guys who've been fantastic stuff to work on. We have some brilliant things planned for next year. I can't wait to tell you. I can't tell you, but I can't wait to tell you.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Spot on.
Yeah, so absolutely. That's going to be it for us. And yeah, so all that remains to say from Karo Alang, from myself, Max Palmer, and from Kelvin T. We will see you all next year for more exciting action. Bye for now. Ta-ra!
Ta-ra!
Relive those moments once again. Good days are now. Reignite your passion. Discover every beauty of the world. Reimagine beyond time. Modern luxury. Convenience beyond measure. Approach towards sustainability. Gain composure of one's health. No road is too long when you have good company. Reinforce positive life experience. What's coming is better than what is gone. Hexalab. Relive. Reignite. Reimagine.
ODYSSEY Battery. Who needs this kind of power and performance? better question is, who doesn't? Pure lead thin plate technology for twice the overall power, deep cycling capability for 3 times the life, and faster, fuller recharging for more peace of mind. Whatever you're driving, there's an ODYSSEY battery for you. ODYSSEY Extreme Series for the most demanding applications, and ODYSSEY Performance Series for everything else. Looking for a battery that's built to go the distance? Find your ODYSSEY battery at odysseybattery.com.